Well, they're always afraid of the human race because this is the serf, that they've been able to enslave, and of course the big fear is that that particular indentured servant slave might in fact wake up and throw away all of the junk that basically an age of awakening is what they're fearful of. Anyone who has control that's surreptitious, anyone who has a catalog of criminality like they have, these are super criminals, mega criminals, the genocides, the colonializations, the war on consciousness, all the devastations they've wreaked. Of course, these are criminals who don't want, to be discovered or the light to be shone on them. I've often said in my work that, hey, these guys say that they're worshippers of the sun. They claim to worship light. What would happen to them? Let's see the effects on them when we turn the light of truth and knowledge onto them. See how they like it. And this
Revelation says they traffic in the souls of men. That's really what's valuable to them is blinders, shutting people down, darkness, destruction. Look at the artwork the elite buys, buckets of maggots, images of dead babies. I mean, this is the most popular art across the board worldwide with the elites, 100 million pounds. Sometimes $200 million, for one piece of blasphemous art. And they say, we're buying this art to worship it, to adulate it, to give it the support it deserves. So what is their master plan? If they were to win, what is the world they're trying to set up? Let's get into the technological enslavement.
They're not trying to set it up. They've already been doing it. As I said before, this imperialist movement of this juggernaut, we're only seeing the latter days of something that has been a continuous, ongoing, incremental movement, down through history. Americans tend to, not see that. They don't see, the whole movement of stuff.
Well, Michael, I see it. I'm talking about their end game. They're gearing up for something big.
Well, I believe it's basically, this ties into my work on 2012 and what's coming there. It's a sort of a 0 hour. This is the death of anything human. It doesn't mean the death of the planet. It doesn't mean, the end of nature. It doesn't even necessarily mean the end of the world. What it means is the end, and by God, anyone with their eyes open can see it's already taken place. It's a countdown to the extinction of what we would use when we say the word human. What we will have after 2012, 2015, you see, is a post-human world. They're racing headlong. You've dealt with it in Endgame.
And all their futurists, all their futurists, they are saying that they will have it by 2012 to 2020 if it's Kurzweil. You're right. They are incrementally now, but accelerating it, turning all the systems on.
Well, remember, what they're going to turn on happens 2012 and post. Before you can turn something on, you've got to end or bring to an end that which was before. So all the idioms, all the customs, the traditions, that all the people of the world, especially of the Western world, because the Western world is now, as you see, being turned into a third world country, and the third world is rising to be a first world. What we're heading towards right now is basically a post-human dystopia in which man is either so reduced to a robotic level that he runs even more headlong into the pharmaceutical thing to drug and to escape himself, or it will literally be some sort of Blade Runner dystopia in which you are literally, going to be vaccinated in a way that changes your, being, or they've messed with our DNA.
And by the way, 20 years ago, they had live viruses, and now they're advertising them, that go in and create lobotomies in key areas of the brain. The viruses attack specific brain tissues to literally create mindless, gibbering automatons, and all of them say this is the plan, and DARPA says this is the plan. And as horrible as this sounds, they need to do this, and they want to exterminate at least 90% of us and have 10% suboid, subhuman slave creatures that serve them.
Well, I believe if you also bring in the whole the concept of the GMOs, you start to discover that the hoarding of the actual organic seeds that nature has produced, they're siloing this, they're archiving it.
Doomsday vaults.
What's that?
They've created doomsday vaults, the Rockefellers and the UN have, because they're going to infect everything. Yeah.
Right, exactly. My vision is that they may, in fact, unleash some sort of worldwide plague on the plant life, on the flora. Mm-hmm. And then this creates us to either be interned underground or in some sort of, silo or dome situation in which only the privileged are given the right kind of food, et cetera, and that person has to be totally conformist. They either wipe out everybody else.
No, let me stop you, Michael. This is the stated reverse-engineered plan. They state, they have black op wars, they have drug wars to build up the police, and they stage terror to expand the criminal control grid. Then they have smaller controlled bioweapon releases to get us into compact cities. Then they start the real mass exterminations. That is the stated plan.
I agree with you there. I absolutely have come to the same conclusions in my own work, that something along these lines is, so people are hearing us now thinking we're talking sci-fi. This is already happening. The Monsanto and the GMO is all behind this. There's something going on, and it ties back to what we said about the inability to be able to control masses of people through the gun-to-the-head system. That has been tried. It doesn't work. The next kind of colonialism that we're going to experience, the next kind of imperialism, is going to be a genetic one. You know, we deal with this in the Architects of Control DVD. That DVD covers a lot of ground, actually, and it also goes into the psychological question of why people lend themselves to this kind of submission. I don't know if we have time to talk about it.
No, we will. We have plenty of time. We're going to have you back soon. We have a whole other hour and 10 minutes coming up. But the point you're making, Monsanto said in '99 in a public speech, it was in major papers, that they plan to infect everything so that then no one has a choice. They admit that this is meant to take over the entire biosphere, and with the Terminator genes and others, end the regular life cycle. The carbon tax is meant to be a tax on humans to literally say that humans are bad, with this new guild of millions per country of environmental enforcers. One-child policy, all of this. I mean, I don't think the public understands. Hitler, Stalin, Mao, that was only warm-up for what they're getting ready to do.
Well, that's my main point. It's warm-up. What we're seeing now is just the preliminary tip of the iceberg, you know. Now, this, the Architects of Control DVD is actually dedicated to Jim Keith and to also Ezra Pound. These are two people that have a big impact on me, because Jim Keith was always looking, and I know you do as well, at this whole technological Leviathan, which is one of the greatest clubs in the hands of the elite.
Stay there. Michael Tsarian. We're going to talk behind the scenes as well now.